Well, welcome everybody to today's first training session of 2 consecutive training sessions. Today we're going to be talking about operating small plant and equipment, and this is for the unit of competency. My name's Daniel. I've been in the construction industry for about 20 years. I've seen a lot of things and a wealth of information, and I really hope that you do learn a lot today about small plant and equipment. I have to go through a few OH&S issues today, starting off by the toilets. If you need to use the toilets are located in the building we just came from, which is over there. If you just watch your step when you leave, there is a little bit of a drop down. Once you enter the building, you turn right and then turn right again and the toilet's there. If you need to use the toilet, please use the front door and just exit whenever you'd like. If you feel unwell at any time of this presentation, please let me know. We'll seek medical attention if we need. Let's hope everyone's going to be alright. Fire emergency, if there's a fire or an evacuation, there's a back door, there's also a front door. 2 emergency meeting points. If there's a fire in the main building, we'll leave to the back of the property. If there's a fire at the main building, out the back, we'll go to the front where all the car park is. I wouldn't mind doing an introduction of everybody and saying what industry they're currently in, if they're in the construction industry, or if not, why you're here today, and just a name and just a quick to get to know everybody. We'll start with you.
My name's Ollie. I've had a long interest in civil construction because a lot of the people in my family are involved with civil, so I thought it would be great to come along and learn something today.
Excellent.
Oh, you want my background?
Yeah.
My background is I've been involved with apprenticeships and with training organisations for probably about the last 20 odd years.
Fantastic.
Hi, I'm Paul. My background is in IT originally and then in house development. So anything you can show me on here will be of interest to me. Obviously my career goes back, I'm now retired. So we're looking at sort of 40 odd years plus. Interested to see what you come up with.
Awesome, thank you.
My name's Paul. I've been in the construction landscape industry for the last 13 years. I just want to upskill my level, so yeah.
Excellent. Thanks, Paul.
My name is Ayhan. I'm a civil supervisor for the last 9 years. I'm hoping just to learn something and update my skills and really looking forward to learning something today.
Thank you. Thanks, Ayhan.
My name is Carl. I operate a small landscaping business and looking to upskill and get some qualifications in that space. I've got a background in civil engineering and previously some construction, so looking forward to it.
My name's Chris, working in finance superannuation, but my dad was in real estate for a long time and I'm always interested to learn about how the estates and construction work.
Awesome. Thanks, Chris.
My name is Ishwar. I have background in civil engineering and I have done masters in project management. As of now, I'm working as an engineer in municipal constructors.
Yep.
Today I'm here to share my thoughts and express it.
Awesome. Great to have some wealth of information.
My name is Emily. I work in the vet industry. I'm here to broaden my knowledge in different areas, and I thought I'd come and learn more about construction.
Fantastic. I hope you learn a lot today. I can see there's a big diversification in the group. We've got some construction people, some non-construction people. So today will be really good. We'll be able to talk about a lot of stuff and put a lot of stuff in perspective. So what are we training today? So today we're going to be mostly talking about operating small plant and equipment, and we'll go into a lot more detail very soon. We're going to go into the skills and knowledge required to operate small plants and equipment. Today we'll also go through some PowerPoint presentations. There'll be some informative videos. There'll be some activities and some brainstorming activities as a group and in pairs. By the end of this session, you'll have more knowledge on tools and plant that we use in the construction industry, and the first the first session will mainly be on PPE, and we may even get into hazards. All right, so who's ready to get into today's training?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's go. All right, operate small plant and equipment. Once again, I'm your teacher, Daniel Tabone. If you have any questions throughout today's presentation, please ask straight away, and I'll also ask if everyone's happy with each slide and any more information needs to be given. What topics are we going to be covering today or over our 2 sessions? Planning and preparing for work with small plant and equipment, choosing and checking the equipment before we use it, using small plant and equipment safely, how we maintain the equipment, and cleaning up after work. So what is small plant and equipment? Small plant and equipment refers to all the machinery and apparatuses needed and used to carry out any construction work. These typically are considered as fixed assets. So small plant can be broken up to many things. Compaction equipment, which soon we'll spend a bit of time on compaction equipment. Concrete equipment, like there's a lot of tools in the concrete industry. Excavation equipment, that could be excavators, small excavators and small rollers. Any maintenance equipment that we need to that we need to work on some of these equipment. Anything related to water, any lighting equipment like lighting apparatuses, like roadworks and all that kind of stuff. Lifting and material handling equipment.
Can I ask a question?
Yep.
With the excavation equipment, you just said that involves excavators.
Yep.
At what point does an excavator go from small plant to large plant?
I wouldn't say there's any kind of detail, but I'd say in our industry, I'd call, from my experience, I'd say like a small machine would probably be up to like maybe a 2 tonne and below, and anything up from a 2, like maybe classified as heavy equipment. Equipment refers to mainly any tool or appliance used in the construction industry. Powered tools, PPE, which we're going to cover a lot today, portable electronic items, hand tools, and anything is really used to carry out any kind of hand work. So that we understand the difference between equipment and small plant.
Yep.
Excellent. So operating small plant and equipment efficiently and safely is extremely crucial, and especially in construction, but it also goes to a lot of wider industries, including landscaping, maintenance, and a lot more. Proper preparation and understanding the equipment is extremely essential to make sure that it's smooth operations, it minimises risks, and achieves optimal results. Here are some key steps to consider when preparing and operating small plant and equipment. So firstly, everything will come out with a manual, and so the manuals are there because it's set by the manufacturer. So we like to get the manual and familiarise yourself with that equipment, so then we're using it to the manufacturer's recommended working procedures. When we have a piece of plant, let's say like a demo saw or a jackhammer, we should do like a pre-use inspection. So we want to make sure that that tool is fit for purpose, that it's not broken, that it's not going to harm anybody when we're using it. A lot of our equipment has fuel, fluids and batteries, and obviously we need to check those, we need to refuel those safely. Like if it doesn't have fuel, the apparatus is not going to run. It's extremely important that we protect ourselves, and we are going to go over PPE a lot more in today's session, but wearing PPE, which is personal protective equipment, is very, very important to your own safety. We've got to make sure the work area is suitable. So we're not going to use a demo saw cutting concrete with a lot of dust in an environment that's in like a small room and concealed. We want to be outside in open spaces. And again, we'll talk more about these tools and how we can reduce any risks. We've got to understand the operating controls. So we're not just going to pick something up and go, she'll be right. We need to understand what we're actually using. We've got to follow any safe operating procedures, and we'll touch on a lot more about that as well. And communication with others when you're working around them, it's very important that, you know, like with some of these machines might be loud, and we have to communicate. There might be some assets in the ground, so we need to speak to people. Check the equipment while we're using it. Like,
What do you mean by assets in the ground?
assets such as, like, you know, if we're cutting something, like there could be Telstra in the ground, water mains.
Also like power lines and stuff.
Sorry?
Power lines and stuff, is that what you mean? Like power?
Yeah, like underground power services. Like,
Gas lines.
Gas lines.
yeah, typically they're a lot deeper, but like some of these tools will dig to these depths, so we're going to be very careful of what's underneath the ground.
Okay.
Check the equipment during use, because like, you know, this equipment, you know, they don't only break down when you pack it up at a night time. And we're going to clean and maintain the equipment after every single time we use it. The reason for that is obviously it's going to keep the apparatus going a lot longer, and it's just safe as well. Like, you know, if you're working with an oily apparatus, you want to make sure it's clean, so then you're not going to slip on it, and, you know, all other stuff getting on your skin. So can anyone name any like just relevant small plant and equipment that we would probably commonly use in the construction industry?
Shovel?
Shovels, yep.
Laser level?
Laser levels, yep.
And jumping jacks.
Jumping jacks, yep.
Whackers.
Whackers, yep.
Compactors.
Yep. Compactions, yep.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome. And so I've actually brought a few along today just to show some people who are unfamiliar with some of these tools. So this is a sledgehammer. It's a brand new sledgehammer. So we use it for so we use this for hitting objects like star pickets,
Bad students.
bad students. That's exactly right. So yeah, on best behaviour. That sledgehammer is about 10 kilos.
10 kilos.
Yeah.
Can you get different sizes?
You can actually, yeah. You get different weighted heads, so they come in bigger heads, smaller heads. This one's like a typical 10 kilo sledgehammer.
Like a standard? Is that the standard one?
Yeah, it's probably one of the more common ones. Yeah.
How would you know which one to pick up?
I suppose it depends on who's using it. Like, I suppose like more athletic, muscly guys might be able to use like bigger ones.
Maybe?
You use it.
Yeah.
Everyone knows what a typical shovel is. It's a labourer's best friend. They absolutely love
Some
shovels.
muscles.
What type of shovels right there?
Shovel, isn't it?
This is a post hole shovel. So shovels come in like all kinds of different shapes and sizes. Some of them are pointy, some of them are round, some of them are flat. Like, you just sort of decide on what
Yeah, I've noticed that.
shovel would be best. Like, this one would probably be more for just like scooping stuff off flat surfaces. It wouldn't be a digging shovel, because, like, you know, when you dig in, it just doesn't have that point on it. And this is a great tool actually, and we'll probably explain this a little bit more, but this is a star picket rammer. So for safety reasons, like usually we get a star picket and like use the sledgehammer, but you know, you could hit your hand or sometimes like even hit your knee. So sledgehammers are very dangerous in the industry, but this is like a new tool. The star picket goes in there and you just drive it down, so it's a lot safer. And these are pretty heavy as well. Yeah.
It's gonna be. It's a monkey.
You get a motorised one,
No, you can get motorised ones. Yep, you get motorised ones now. Like, they come in battery form, where basically they just go like pod, 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 pod. So you don't have to use your kinetic energy like banging it down.
You get motorised anything these days,
I
can't
know.
you? Taking all the work away.
Not to see they clean the stuff up in the basket.
That's right.
I thought Dan.
I'm assuming they don't look that clean once they're being used.
No, this is just for display
Yeah,
training.
And the plastic isn't doing anything.
That's right.
Oh, they can take you back to bonus in the morning.
That's right. Yeah. So I'll see if anyone's familiar with some of these. Does anyone know what one of these is?
Asphalt or concrete?
Yep. Do we know the name of it?
Like a demo sort?
Yeah, it's like a demo saw, but this is a road saw. So a road saw is like a demo saw, but a road saw has a much bigger blade. The road saws are typically for cutting roads, curbs, like pretty much like they'll cut extremely deep. Like we get blades up to 300-400 mil on these road saws. Generators.
With the road saw, is there some attachments to minimise dust?
Yeah, so as you can see in this picture, that hose is actually connected to a water tank or maybe like a house tap. So typically the operator will have a hose that could be 10, 30, 40 metres long because he might be cutting like a big section of road. So yeah, to control dust, like these saws, especially in today's environment, we've got to make sure that we're reducing dust because of silicosis and all the other effects of cutting into raw materials. So that's the standard demo saw. Typically they come with blades that are about 125 millimetres to 150 millimetres. So these saws will cut a lot deeper, and these are just a manual handheld saw. Generator, found at a lot of building sites. Generators, their primary use is to supply electricity.
And it's good to see that he's wearing his PPE.
100%.
He's got his
Good
helmet,
observation.
goggles.
He has got his mask on, though.
Oh, I've got to wear a mask, do you?
Should, yeah.
No, you should.
You should, yeah.
Yeah, right.
This is a laser, so not for shooting the aeroplanes at night time. So this laser, we use it for laying pipes. So it usually has a red or a green beam, and you set an input grade into it, and that's how we get a nice consistent grade when we're laying pipes in civil construction.
Looks quite big.
It's quite small. It's
Right.
you typically fit
So
it
it's
in
like
like a
handheld.
yeah, it's handheld. It slides into a 150 mil pipe, and you can put like different legs on it to lift it up and down. But yeah, it's probably only about 300 mil long, and it'd be under 150 mil. This is a whacker, as it's known, or a DPU. It depends on who's taught you, like the abbreviation of it. So a DPU is made for compacting materials such as mostly crushed rock. So basically the plate will vibrate and it'll just shuffle the crushed rock from the big particles to the small particles and getting a dense compaction in the crushed rock.
What's DPU stand for?
Deep penetration unit.
Oh.
Jumping jack. Jumping jack is very similar to the DPU, but it's a lot smaller. You can get different kinds of feet on them. This one will probably have a 120 foot, 150 foot, and you get a foot that's 300 mil. So what we typically do when we're laying pipes in the ground, we've got a trench and the pipe's in, and then we've got to put crushed rock to support the pipe. And because the pipe's round, it's really hard to get the crushed rock, what we call the spring line. So the spring line is the halfway point, and the crushed rock just doesn't get underneath the pipe. So what we use the jumping jack on the side of the pipes, and the jumping jack is basically what it is. It bounces and it compacts, and it's like compacting that rock right in between the pipe. That's probably one of the more common things we use a jumping jack for. Flex drive pump. So we have a main unit that has an engine and a spline, and the spline with the motor head, it gets put into it, and basically it'll extract water. This is a small 2-inch unit. They can go into 4-inch, 6-inch, 8-inch units, but this one's a handheld one. So yeah, the only purpose of this is for dewatering sites.
So you extract the water from the ground? Is that...
Yeah, so it's there for if you, let's say you have a dam and you need to get rid of the water, or it's just rained on the job site and the pits are full of water. This part will go into the water. You hook the blue hose into there's a little nozzle there, plug it into the engine, start it up, and it'll start extracting water. So just pieces of equipment that we use: shovel, string lines are very common, hammers.
So that's the other shovel you were talking about, better for digging rather than...
Yeah, correct. Yeah,
one
it's pointy, so that one would be a lot better for like digging into the ground. Hammer, spirit level. The list can go on. There's so many tools. Like, I'm sure we've all been to Bunnings. You go to the tool department. They've got aisles after aisles after aisles of just tools. So we could spend all day naming tools. All right, PPE, which is known as personal protective equipment. These are some items commonly used. Hard hats, and for anyone who hasn't seen one, more than welcome to pass the hat around. These new types of hard hats, you just pull back on the lever and just pull it back, forward.
Wow.
So to put it on nice and tight, you just pull it back and twist until it locks on, you push it back in.
Oh, I didn't know
Wow.
that.
Is
That's
that
fancy.
because they used to fall off? Is that the so this
Um,
is an extra security measure?
yeah, it's
The old
just,
school.
it's really good. So I've got an old school one with me as well, that you can just click it and then, yeah, pull back. So this one's been well used, and it's obviously protected someone's head really, really well. But this one's more of an older type where you push the button and you actually, you push the button and it'll go in and out. But these new ones are way more efficient. Other types of PPE today that I have is just regular gloves. This is a disposable dust mask. And that's what I have for on him today. Boots.
Everyone.
Oh, and I am actually wearing boots today.
Ah, cool.
Work boots.
Probably don't pass them around.
We won't. But yeah, on site we really want to make sure that we're wearing steel cap boots. How do we know they're steel capped? Well, typically like shoes, you stand on the toe part, they just, you know, it's solid. So they're solid for a reason, just in case if something like a plant might track over you, or, you know, a sledgehammer hits you and you just knock that, but it's very, very safe because it's going to protect your feet. PPE is anything that's used or worn by a worker to assist to reduce health and safety risks.
So are there different types of gloves?
Yep, this is a.
So you said that's the standard.
Yeah, this is just, there's so many types of gloves, like, you know, like considering gardening, you've got gardening gloves, you've got riggers gloves, these are more of a like leather type. Dealing with fuel, you'll have like more of a, so the fuel doesn't, because like with these ones, fuel will absorb through the glove and go that, so we've got so many different types of gloves for different operations. So we're going to watch a very small video just on PPE.
So, you might recognise us as a company that eats our own dog food. What we do is we pick
Personal protective equipment, or PPE for short, is equipment that will protect you against health and safety risks at work. It's not a new idea. People have used PPE for centuries to protect themselves. But in the modern workplace, PPE includes items like safety helmets, gloves, eye protection, face masks, and safety footwear. PPE is incredibly important because it provides a last line of defense against injury, and it can save your life. But only if you use it. Regrettably, people continue to sustain head injuries because they don't wear hard hats. Feet are damaged because people choose to not wear safety shoes. And people foolishly risk their sight because they won't wear eye protection. Injuries can result in permanent disabilities, blindness, or even death. So, knowing all of this, why do people choose to not wear PPE? For some, it's a matter of comfort. Others feel that it slows them down. Some people simply don't see the need to wear it, especially for quick jobs. And most astonishingly of all, some people choose to put their lives in danger because they think it makes them look silly. Whatever the reason, there is no excuse for not wearing PPE. In this PPE awareness course, we will explain why not taking PPE seriously can have devastating consequences. We'll look at some common PPE types and the hazards they protect us from. And we'll discuss how you can look after your PPE so it can continue to look after you.
Any questions on that short video? All good? Alright, I didn't mention at the start, there's going to be some interactive stuff today. So if I can, has everyone got their phone on them today?
Yeah.
Excellent.
You?
Yeah,
Alright,
Maybe you can
I'll share.
share with Paul, that'd be fantastic.
Unlucky.
So what I need everybody to do is point their camera at the QR code. But let me just get it up. So this is just a presentation where we just all brainstorm together and have a good think together. But yeah, so name types of PPE which could be used in the construction industry. You're allowed to answer more than once.
Things up on there, that's amazing.
Yep, hard hats, gloves, hard hats, exactly right. Masks, very, very important. Ear protection, that's a really, really good answer. Ear protection's like very, very, like, you know, like we're living longer in life, and you know, there's a lot of people like in the later in life who are having a lot of ear troubles because, like, you know, old school. The old school mentality was it's going to be all right. Safety boots, very, very important. Goggles. Why are goggles important? 100%, like, you know, we could be using a grinder and, you know, to reduce that hazard of sparks and like fragments of steel like coming into your eye.
Oh, that sounds painful.
Knee pads, that's a great one, especially like repetition. Yeah. Knee pads, like repetition and you're on your knees. That's a great protector. Safety pants, yep, 100%. Like this industry, like safety pants, you know, it's more than just safety pants as well. Like this industry, you know, climate change, it's getting warmer out there, pants, long sleeve shirts, that's all types of PPE to protect ourselves from the harsh environment and the hot sun.
Are safety pants, like, are they different to like a normal, do they have extra like layer or something to protect?
Safety pants, I'd probably say what my definition of a safety pants is, if you just wear like normal chinos, they're not as thick. But if you go to a clothing store that specialises in workwear, like King G and all those kind of brands, it's really thick. So like if you get caught on barbed wire, there's a hard chance that it's going to withstand that. But like, you know, I'm just wearing normal shorts today, like it will just probably cut me. So like, yeah, it's heavier and dense material.
And do they have the same thing in like a shirt as well? They have thicker.
Yeah, they have thick
like
shirts, and then obviously like a lot of UV protection, like 50 plus UV shirts these days.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, no, these are fantastic answers.
So on a job site, who makes a decision about what safety stuff has to be worn? So is there like a safety officer or?
There could be.
Okay.
Later in our, probably in our second training session, we'll probably talk a little bit more about that. But just for quick reference, it's up to the individual, but also when we're doing high risk tasks, we've got to do some paperwork that involves eliminating risks to taking them down to a more lower risk. So that might be involving like using a demo saw. It's going to create a lot of dust. So how we're going to reduce that? We're going to put water on the blade so it's not chucking dust everywhere. And then also, last line of defence would be PPE, dust masks and all that sort of stuff. Alright, I think we covered that really well. Alright, so there's another one. This time it's a quiz. No, it should just come up on your phone next now. I think.
Yeah, it has.
Yeah.
It's all there.
You have to get next slide. Yeah.
What are you looking for? Ooh, fast competition. Chris is there.
So can PPE be shared, reused or altered? What's your thoughts on that? So the answers are yes, no, or it depends on the situation. Alrighty, interesting. Can I ask if there's a participant who would like to tell the group why they answered no?
I said no.
Yep.
I don't want somebody else wearing my equipment. So, yeah.
You could also be knee pads you can share, some type of gloves.
I
Yeah,
was
it could
thinking
be.
like earmuffs, like
Yeah.
goggles
Yeah.
and stuff maybe. You can
Yeah,
share
It's a
them.
bit hygienic, you know?
But Chris
Yeah.
is
Over
right.
Yeah, COVID. Maybe COVID's done that. Yeah.
But like one PPE that we certainly can share, and you know, I might be a supervisor and I'm driving away to my next site, and Chris, you've just rocked up to work, you're like, Dan, I forgot my PPE. I'd be like, you know what mate, it's all good, I'm in the car all day, you have my PPE.
Oh, yeah.
So it's certainly something that we can share. It's certainly
Say no,
something.
go on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They are.
Fair enough.
Can it be reused? Yes, it can. But then we get into the compliance of these like dust masks that are usually just a throwaway item, one item. Dust masks come in a lot of different shapes and sizes, but these are very much disposable. So I completely agree with the group that it definitely depends on the situation.
So you're saying I'm wrong?
No, but
Just
there,
picky.
no, but there is like I totally agree with the hygiene that
It's
you said, Chris.
situations.
100%. Like
That's why you're in finance.
Don't share my pencil.
if we had ear protection, like I reckon we'd be able to share earmuffs. But if it's those ones that you twirl and put in your ears, like yeah,
Fair enough.
we don't want to share those. Like we certainly don't want to share those. But
Why not?
well, you could if you want, but I think that's highly unhygienic.
Especially those padded underpants.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Probably won't be sharing those.
Question 2. What does PPE stand for? People's protective equipment, personal protective equipment, or protecting people's equipment?
If we get it wrong, you're going to be asked to leave straight away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent, and it's great to know the group is all learning and listening. Great job.
This is a bit interactive though.
Who should pay for PPE in the workplace? The company, yourself, as it's your responsibility, the person who instructed you to do that task.
Interesting.
Chris and the emojis. No, I haven't got my phone actually.
Yeah. Not sure. I feel like this has multiple answers.
Apparently I got it right.
Interesting. Very interesting. Legally, the company actually has to supply you
Oh,
with
yeah,
the
you did that.
The
PPE.
bare minimum PPE.
Yeah, well that's what
Yeah, so it's interesting because I put yourself as it's your responsibility because I want to make sure that I'm,
Yep.
you know.
they've got to look after you as well.
It's
'cause you're under
definitely
Yeah, but like you said, the bare minimum. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like they've only got a
They
responsibility.
could give you crappy gloves where you might
Yeah.
get gloves that fit better, but that's on your own back.
And
Well,
it's
buy them.
interesting because under work health and safety, it's your responsibility as much as it
That's
is
right.
the employer.
Yeah.
Mm.
So if the company are providing you, saying to you to do something, and you go, well, hang on, I haven't got the right gear, you
You're liable.
legally, you're liable just as much as the company is.
Yeah, but I think the company has to provide it.
Yeah.
You can always go above and beyond,
Yeah.
but that's an optional addition where the company's basic obligation.
If they don't provide it, then it's your responsibility to refuse to do the work.
100%, and that's exactly right. So the employer has a obligation to supply you with the minimum requirement, which should be set out in OH&S laws. And if your employer, let's say you're using, we're gonna always use like the demo saw, it creates a lot of dust, and your employer doesn't, there's no water, there's no proper masks, not gloves, like Paul said, you have every right to say, I'm not doing this task. Like, you need to protect yourself.
Oh, Emily, you did so well.
Well done, Ayan. 2 points.
Good job.
What's my speed?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, she wants to
I
do it
didn't even put my
again.
name in until the thing started.
Hey, don't worry, I wasn't even on the board. I wasn't even on the
But
board.
at least you spelled your name right, so that's.
Here I am. I came 6th out of 6th.
Oh, we're even.
Good program.
It is good, isn't it?
Interactive, yeah.
No.
So when we're talking about PPE, there's definitely a hierarchy of control. And as we can see, we've got most effective to least effective. And it's surprising, but it's very true that PPE should be our extreme last line of defence. So there's other ways that we can look at tasks. So we want to firstly look at eliminating. So what is the hazard and can we actually eliminate it? And then we'll drop down to substitution. How can we replace a hazard? Can we actually do something differently in that task? Engineering controls, isolate people from the hazard. So that could be moving the public away from that area, like we're dealing with asbestos and we've got proper asbestos removalists. So we're isolating the spot maybe. Administrative controls, we're going to change the way people work. So there might be a better way of doing something. And then PPE, even though it is highly effective, it's the least effective with the hierarchy of control, if everyone understands that. So yeah, very important, and even though PPE is considered the last line of defence, it's still extremely important for workplaces to have it readily available. And PPE should be the last line of defence. We might watch a quick video of just what happens if this is a commercial that was around a few years ago, and it basically sums up what happens potentially on a site. Someone unexperienced.
Yeah, I was looking to you if I should.
God, say your bloody name.
Nailed it.
What do now?
Yeah, that's very full on. And you could argue if he was wearing PPE, would he have been saved? I don't know. I think there's a lot of further issues there that obviously he was not trained and he didn't quite know that he was obviously shooting into possibly a metal wall. So the nail has bounced back and hit him in the eye. But we never know, like if he did actually have eye protection, it could have maybe hit him in the eye protection and possibly saved his eye.
Brutal ad. It's like those TAC ads. You know, they're brutal too. They want to get their point across.
So we're running out of time for our first session today. we'll just recap a few things that we've been over. We've been talking a lot about what types of equipment that we use in the construction industry. That's from tools, from hammers to sledgehammers to rammers, and then other actual like mechanical pieces of plant like jumping jacks, DPUs, demo saws, just to name a few. We've touched on PPE, and we'll probably touch on that a little bit more in our next session. So yeah, before we wrap up today's session, does anyone have any questions? Awesome. Well, great job, everybody, especially like working as a group. The slides are fantastic, see participation, and then obviously like some of our more experienced people in construction explaining to like the young group. So great job, and until next session, which is next week, we'll do a review and we'll come back and we'll keep talking about small plant and equipment.
Thanks, Dana.
No worries, cheers.
Thank you.